Okay, so thank you for having me here today. I am going to talk to you about RSE around the world, all the different chapters that already exist, the resources that are available to you, and how you can get involved in those things. So first of all, my name is Wyatt. I'm the community manager for the UK Research Software Engineering. I'm funded by the Software Sustainability Institute, and I'm actually based in the University of Southampton, which is in southern England. So I'm going to talk back to you all about all of these things. First of all, I'm going to start in the UK with the Software Sustainability Institute, move on to the Society, which is the charity we formed in 2019, and then the International Council, and then the various different national groups that have already started up over the last few years, and then last of all, RSES, the Research Software Alliance. So first of all, the Institute. I'm going to talk about the community and the events that the community and events team put on, things that you can get involved in. So we are a national facility in the UK promoting the advancement of software and research since 2010 by cultivating better, more sustainable research software to enable world-class research. And we've made that much more succinct, I'll say the word, in our motto, better software, better research. And we're a collaboration of 4 universities. So the Institute is virtual. We are based at those 4 different universities: Edinburgh, Southampton, Oxford and Manchester. And since 2018, we were awarded funding from all 7 UK research councils, which we are really proud to be supported by all 7. So we're split into 5 teams in the Institute. There's a software team that helps with the community to develop software that meets the needs for reliable, reproducible and reusable research. We've got a policy and research team that collects evidence on and promotes the place of software in research and shares this information with our stakeholders. There's a training team which delivers essential software skills to researchers and partners with institutions, doctoral schools and the community. And then there's a community team which develops communities of practice by supporting the right people to understand and address topical issues. And finally, there's a communications and outreach team which exploits our platform to enable engagement and delivery and uptake. So each of those teams have lots of different activities going on. There's just some of the different activities listed here. And we can see under community, we're talking about the fellows, the RSEs, workshops and the collaborations workshop, and I'm going to cover those in more detail in a second. Those are some of the things you can get involved in. And my talk today is going to focus on those activities. So the fellowship program. The fellowship program engages with natural ambassadors of better software practice from the research community, and we believe that the promotion of better, more sustainable software is best done by those within the domains. So the program supports those involved with improving software practice and helps form communities of practice with funding for workshops, training, events, and any other activities. Fellows help the Institute discover important information about software in different research domains and guide training, policies, community work, and consultancy engagements. So the benefits to being a fellow: you are awarded a £3,000 event fund. You can raise your profile and have your opinion heard. You can organise and attend events. You present your work. There are opportunities to gain teaching experience and training experience. There are publishing opportunities, both formal and informal, such as through our website. You can gain higher visibility within your institution, which can lead to potential new collaborations, which I believe is what's already happening with Kim. You can be considered a thought leader in your area. And we offer a platform to influence research software policy. Most importantly, you can get to join a dynamic network of fellows. And this is a really important aspect because the whole community of fellows are really supportive, inspiring and engaging over all the different years intakes of fellows. Many of the early RSE leaders were SSI fellows, actually, with a strong representation of RSEs in the fellows network representation. So these are some of the examples of fellows activities listed here. Obviously, only some examples of things that they've achieved with their fellowship, throughout their fellowship. Software carpentry there, R packages, all sorts of tools for digital humanities, all sorts of things. So collaborations workshop is actually where the RSE community started back in 2012. There were a handful of people there, and they came together in one of the discussion groups to talk about their role and the lack of recognition. I would thoroughly recommend you follow that link to read that article. Paul Richmond there. He was our president of the society a couple of years ago, not long ago. And it's a really good article. We managed to get out there interviewing him about what it's like to be an RSE and why it's so important, why science needs more. And the photo on the left-hand side is the first German conference in 2019. They asked us all to obviously spell out RSE and took the photo with a drone, which was really good fun. So the next thing you can get involved in after the fellowship program is the collaborations workshop. And this is the Institute's annual unconference that brings together researchers, software developers, managers, funders, all sorts of people to explore important ideas in software and research and to plant the seeds for interdisciplinary collaborations. In the beginning, the workshop was very developer focused, but now there's we've created connections with a wider set of people in the research software community. Subsequent collaboration workshops with fellows in attendance, so it's much more balanced in terms of RSEs and researchers, which has formed an ideal ground for forming collaborations and experiencing the type of productive relationships needed to advance better research software practice. It's an unconference, so comprising of many different interactive session types, which I'll go to in the next slide, relating to that year's theme. So the Collaborations Workshop 2023 is taking place in May, and it's going to be hybrid, so you absolutely can get involved from Africa, obviously, and it's the theme is sustainable career development. So have a look out for that when it goes out. So this is how the Collaborations Workshop workflow. As I said, it's an unconference, so there's not only presentations, but it involves a lot of interactive sessions led by participants. So the keynotes and lightning talks form and inspire, and lightning talks provide the perfect opportunity for participants and sponsors to introduce themselves and their work at the workshop. Panels are also informative, but also allow a discussion and exploration of a topic or theme to showcase different perspectives. And the mini workshops and demo sessions give an in-depth look at a particular tool or approach and a chance to query developers and experts at how this might apply to the participants' area of work. So each of these sessions feed into more interactive sessions that follow. So the discussion sessions allow groups of people to discuss a topic that interests them in a way that furthers our knowledge of that topic. They can also co-author blog posts summarizing their discussion. This is where the RSE movement was coined, or the term was coined 10 years ago, in 2012, in a discussion group. Then the collaborative ideas session that follows is used to get people talking about their work. So groups identify problems within research software and come up with a solution, facilitating more focused creation. The final day of the workshop is a hack day, and that's where teams form to work on projects generated during the collaborative ideas session and other ideas pitched during the course of the event. This facilitates co-creation amongst participants and establishes collaborations that last beyond the workshop. Throughout the workshop, we facilitate lots of opportunities for networking amongst participants to support collaboration. So here's some examples of the collaboration workshop outcomes, and obviously some photos taken from online collaboration workshops in the last couple of years. So blog posts authored by the discussion groups, they're published on the SSI website. We've got some ideas fed into hack days. 70% of participants start a collaboration based on conversations at the workshop, and 80% of participants intend to carry on that work on the hack day project afterwards. We've got a couple of examples there. So the next resource that you can get involved in through the Institute are research software camps. So this is a relatively new thing. It's been started by one of my colleagues, Selena. They are free online events twice a year over the course of 2 weeks. It's completely free and it explores different topics. So as you can see, we've had several already in 2021, research, accessibility, beyond the spreadsheet, and then next steps in coding. And there's another one coming up in November. So please do get involved in that when the call comes out. If you sign up to the mailing list for the Software Sustainability Institute, obviously you get all the information when all of these calls come out for these different initiatives to get involved. So the aim of the camp is to raise awareness of good research software practices in both our existing communities and among new audiences who haven't yet engaged with the Institute before. RSEs can get involved as presenters, mentors, experts, and we've also got a mentoring program that has come out of the second research software camp. There's currently 18 mentorships ongoing now. I've been told my colleague Selena there's going to be an application process if you'd like to join the mentor program in 2023. It's completely run online and free to join. And again, that will be through the mailing list once they launch that. And then the other item right on the bottom of the slide, software surgeries. So these are more informal, they're 20 minutes. I believe they're launching them from August, and you'll get to speak to a colleague of mine at the Institute. You can come in with a question or a problem about your software, and you can sit and chat over that with 20 minutes, and that's a weekly activity online. So here's a look at the Research Software Camp 2. It was called Beyond the Spreadsheet, which you can tell. Focused on the use of spreadsheet in research and the next steps into further use of software in research. That was back in November 2021. There's also a podcast episode for that. If you haven't heard about the podcast series, I'll talk about that in a second. Code for Thought. There's lots of fantastic episodes on there, but I'll come to that later on. And then Research Software Camp 3 was Next Steps in Coding, which was just May just gone, focused on improving computational and training skills and exploring existing resources. So this was a mix of live sessions, workshops, and various levels of expertise, pre-recorded tutorials. They run the mentorship program as well from it and a software surgery, and they've published resources on the website. So please do go and check that out. It's a fully online event and all the sessions are free. So we've also got lots of training resources on the website. There's the link there, obviously, for you to look at another time. We've got RSEs often contribute to this source and this space by being helpers and trainers and running events locally, helping in other locations and piloting some of the newer courses, such as the intermediate research software development skills. Depending on who is running the course, there's often a budget for paying helpers and instructors. And so there are many opportunities to get involved and contribute to these training resources, but they're also available for you to reuse and build upon for your own work. So we have an event organisation guide. So if you find yourself organising some events, there's lots of lovely templates in there. There's a guide on how to basically project management of events that we've built from doing our own events at the Institute. It's a completely free resource. You can go in there and it can help you figure out how to do a small or large event. And there's lots of good and lots of top tips and really useful information in there. And then this is a lovely slide of all our collaborators and partners, and obviously you can see yourselves on there, your logo on there. And I'm going to talk about some of these other groups off to the left-hand side, the US and the German and the Netherlands RSE groups as well, and the Research Software Alliance as well, which I mentioned earlier. So that's everything from the Software Sustainability Institute. I'm going to move now to the Society, which is, as I said, is a charity that came out of that very first Collaborations Workshop 2012. So this is our timeline of the grassroots movement until the professionalisation of our charity, which we call the Society. As you can see, the term was coined in 2012, and there was the first group, the first workshop. Now, when I joined in 2016, we had the first RSE conference in Manchester. And then we founded the society in 2019, as you can see. So our membership has grown. It's actually higher than that, because obviously the slide was from April. And we had 550, now we have 600 odd. So I'm going to go on to that in a little bit. You can see the trajectory of numbers of members joining us, and the Twitter followers, and the Slack workspace, and the recipients of our newsletter has just grown and grown over the years, which is wonderful. So some of our initiatives that we've put on for the society, and obviously some of these you can actually get involved in. We had an RSE Aspiring Leaders workshop. That was a residential a couple of years back. We're going to be organising another one soon. As I said, we started our conferences in 2016, which is an annual conference, and that was our last in-person one for obvious reasons. We've got one coming up later this year, which I'll talk about in a second. And that was a photo from our 2019 conference in Birmingham. And we're up to about 300, 350 delegates now. So it's become quite a big conference with about 4 or 5 parallel tracks at the same time. We've also started a feedback session that's become an annual tradition. We have a survey and we have an online event where we ask the community to come and talk to the trustee board. So on the society, there's 12 trustees. We ask them to come and talk to us of what they would like the society to achieve in the next 12 months and what they really want us to help the community with. We've also had career events. We've invited the UK funders to join us and talk about career progression and career paths with our community. And you may have got involved in September RSE, which was the online conference last September. Now, all of those sessions from the month-long conference were recorded, and that's all on the YouTube channel, the Society YouTube channel. So please do go and have a look there. There's lots of fantastic content there. And as I said, we're having another conference this year as our first in person since 2019. We are right in the middle of organising it, so obviously the usual mayhem. But that's going to be in Newcastle, at Newcastle University in the UK in September. There are about six tickets left. So if you have funding and have visas and can, please do grab one of those last few tickets. So for networking, we organise a RSE Leaders Network. This group meets about 4 times a year. It's a confidential meeting in person, pretty much all day, and they get to talk confidentially to each other about how to run a team, how to get grant funding, how to recruit, how to retain, etc., etc. It's a really popular group. At the moment, we're trying to build regional groups, so we're trying to reinforce the community by having not just the local institute groups and the national, which is the society obviously, but having regional groups. So those institutes that identify in those regions can meet and create their own events throughout the rest of the year while we're not having our annual conference. So we're in the middle of creating that. We have a Slack channel, which is obviously 3,000 people, as I said before. Please do join. There is already an RSSE Africa channel. So please do join the Slack channel and join your channel, and you're obviously free to be on the general and everything like that, see what's going on. There's lots of different nationality RSEs, lots of different groups on there, and they post lots of interesting stuff about the papers and their initiatives and their conferences. So it's the place to look for all the information, all the news. As I mentioned, the society helped Peter Schmidt in the UK start a podcast series called Code for Thought. It is a dedicated podcast to research software engineering. So I thoroughly recommend that you have a listen and nominate yourself, volunteer for an episode, or nominate a colleague. Peter is always looking for people to have a chat with and record a podcast episode with, and he's looking to represent the really wide diversity of RSEs, the domains they work in, the work that they do. So do think about putting yourself forward, but have a listen as well. There's lots of episodes now. We started a mentoring program. We had a pilot of that, and we're about to start another mentoring program. So you see the call for that. Please do get involved. And we have a newsletter every 2 months. Past newsletters are all on the website, so they're again full of information with blog posts and papers and all sorts of initiatives going on. And we're starting an RSE landscape review, so we're doing case studies, You can very much get involved in that. If you'd like to be part, you'd like to have a case study about yourself, the trustees that are running that can get involved, can get in touch with you with a set of questions, and then they'll build a case study on that and pop it on the society website. So highlighted successes, as I said, we 10 years since we had the term RSE coined, we had a campaign on Twitter of people to have cake together and celebrate, and everybody did, and say what it means to be an RSE and to be part of the RSE community. And lots of people, wonderful comments there about what it meant to find their community. Very recently, we very lucky, we feel very lucky to have Dr. Ben Goliker and Professor Neil Ferguson talk to a parliamentary committee and really put forward, convince that research software engineers and engineering needs to be at the forefront of this new way of working, and is very important, and needs asking for the prioritisation of professionalism around software development. 2019 is our last conference, I said, and we can't wait for the one in September. Please do think about joining us if you'd like to. We're up to 613 members. So members, by members, I mean people who have paid up to join the society. That's £20 a year, and they join us as a membership. And so we're up to 613. And the podcast I've already mentioned, so please do have a listen to that. So how can you get involved in all of these things? Like I said, join the mailing list for the newsletter. You'll see everything that's going on there, and the calls for the mentoring program and the conference and everything. Follow us on Twitter to hear about all the initiatives. Join the RSE Slack space. Join the conference committee. So the conference committee delivers the annual UK conference. Can come from anywhere. We all meet online for 10 months, and it's all over the UK, Ireland, wherever. And then obviously you, because you're on the committee, you get a free ticket, and you've helped develop the committee, develop the conference, you get a free ticket to come along. And obviously attend the conference, come along and join us. You can apply for a small grant from our events and initiatives fund. So we have this fund, and it can be used for all sorts of things, training, networking. We recently approved a grant for a Zoom license. Sometimes it's catering to be able to put on an event, all sorts of things. You can find a link to that on the society website. Please do apply for a grant. And like I said, you can volunteer to participate in a case study to show the diversity of RSEs. We're trying to build a resource of all these case studies. So that's some links to the society website, a trustee report for 2020. We're just currently working on the latest one, and obviously our Twitter account. So please do think about joining those mailing lists and things. So on to the next item in the list. International Council of RSE Associations. So after a few years, since 2016, 2017, various other national groups started up around Europe and in the US. So we decided to create a formal open forum so that we could talk and coordinate regularly and sustain international collaboration. So we meet every couple of months. We update. Every national group updates everybody else about what we're up to and what we're doing. Make sure we don't clash any big annual conference with another country, and we can share information about what's going on. And yeah, it consists of the delegates from the established RSE associations. There's the link there if you'd like to go and have a look at their website. So the US RSE, that started in early 2017. After coming along to one of the International RSE Leaders meeting that we organised at the Alan Turing Institute in the UK. They put out lots of community calls, virtual workshops, they've got lots of resources. Again, join their mailing list, follow them on Twitter. There's lots of things you can get involved in, even though you're not based in the US. I'm sure that would be absolutely fine to join their workshops. The German RSE group formed again shortly after us in 2016, or whether 2016, 2017, they were in the formal group, and then they formed a legal association in November 2018. They have a board, there's the website, they can go and see what they're up to as well. They had their first RSE conference in June 2019, as I said, and I think they've got another conference coming up early next year, February, March, I believe, their next conference. They also do events online and in person, which you can get involved in. Nordic RSEs, so this is informal association, obviously for Nordic RSEs. They have a seminar series, they have an unconference coming up in October 2022. They have bi-weekly community meetings for the RSEs, obviously, in the Nordic countries. The Netherlands formed a group. There are about 200 research software engineers across many Dutch organizations, about 13 institutes. They are regularly sponsored by the Netherlands eScience Centre for their events, and they've been going a few years as well. RSE Australia and New Zealand, so they have been going for a number of years. They have 2 conferences, as you can see, coming up in September, both online. I'm sure you can get involved in those conferences, and there's their website link if you'd like to learn more of what they're up to. The Belgium are research software engineers. They formed very recently in 2020. They've had an event already, and the aim of the Belgian research software engineer community is to foster a community of research software developers and to collectively improve the standards of software used for scientific research. RSE Asia is our latest group starting up. They are literally starting up this year. We've invited the founder to the conference in September to be able to start networking with the other groups and the UK Society trustees and the UK community. That they are the group that I mentioned earlier, that we awarded funding from the UK Society for a Zoom license and some other online tools to help them get started. And then there's the Research Software Alliance. So you may have heard of these people. This group, this organisation, with Michelle Barker, most people from spoken to Michelle. They're focusing on bringing research software communities together to collaborate on the advancement of the research software ecosystem. They are organising diversity talks online at the moment. I believe I've seen that around. So they're really great to get involved in. They've got lots of resources on their website. I've just only taken 2 of the papers, but there's many more. So if you're trying to look for a really wide global look at research software, the landscape, and what other groups are out there, they're really good resource there. And that is it for me. That's everything about the research RSE in around the world. Any questions?